John is not going to change. He's a piece of shit. He's always been a piece of shit. He's not going to change.
But what if I could change him?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm hearing.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, which I've dedicated to talk about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam.
And I am not.
Nope.
That's all I got.
Nope.
Everyone's talking about
They're
how much of
always
Jesse
saying-
Kazam. I'm the most Jesse of all the Kazams. Everyone talks about it. Speaking of, oh my God, the debates tonight. I actually want to watch it.
Oh my
I
God.
cannot wait to see the dumpster fire.
I know. Did you see they actually set it up so the mics auto mute when the time is up?
Oh yeah, dude, it's gonna be great when he's like, everyone talks about how
Dude, he's absolutely running over to the other mic at some point during the
if he yells loud enough. I've got the loudest voice. It's louder than they said.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I feel like one of them is gonna have a stroke on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just have a bad.
There's got to be a bingo card. I was thinking that too. Weirdly, I was like, someone's gonna fall down. Someone's falling down at some point.
Oh my God, bro. Did I ever show you the video? This is the video, one of the videos. And listen, I'm an equal opportunity, like, make fun of her, like Biden's
Oh, yeah.
like 850,000 years old.
Yeah. Just as
him
easy
walking,
to make fun of, yeah.
him walking up the stairs with the toilet paper stuck on his shoe is like, oh, the leader
my
of the free world, dude.
Yeah.
The leader of the free world. But did I ever show you the video of it was, I don't know how, 4 years, 8 years, 150 years ago, when
Somewhere in there.
there was like, I think it was a Republican debate,
Okay.
and everyone was getting called out. Did we have this conversation?
I don't know.
So, oh God, dude. Basically what you see is they're all like standing backstage. The cameraman just like watching them like behind the curtain,
Okay,
basically.
yeah.
Like, and it's just like the crappiest audio. There's like no
Gotcha.
monitors.
Actual monitors. Okay.
So, and they're announcing them, and they say, they call out a few candidates, I think, and then they call Ben Carson.
okay.
And I think like he didn't hear them, so he was like looking around. He turns backwards, and there's the guy with like the clipboard and the headphones, like go, and he's like, they didn't call me yet. They didn't call me yet. And then it was, they called somebody else who just like looked at him and sort of walked by, and Ben Carson was just standing there like waiting for them to call my name. And then they called Trump, and Trump like strolls out, half paying attention, and then like sees Carson there, and he just like stands behind him. And then like they call all the other candidates, and they just all walk by, and you see like the guy with the clipboard's like, go, they call me, go. And they turn around, and like they're kind of aloof. They don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And bro, the comments section it's the most copium of political copium ever.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is, that's my president. He's standing with like my African-American brother. He loves black people. He's so supportive. He was standing in solidarity with Ben. Everybody had no respect. And it's like, he didn't hear them call his name.
Oh my God, bro.
Like, why are you? Like, they turned it literally just thousands and thousands and thousands
I
of
believe
comments
it. I
that are
believe
like,
it.
my hero. And it's like, that's your takeaway from this? I feel like I'm in North Korea, dude.
Dude, that is... yeah, that had to be back
Dear
like
leader.
way back in 2016 or whatever. Oof. Oof.
So now we're a politics podcast.
Yep. So welcome to episode 1 of the
Paulcast.
Paulcast. Yes.
PAUL. Where, speaking of, actually, it's kind of funny because Trump was on
Logan
the other Paul. Yeah,
who actually is our guest tonight. Welcome, Logan.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that was a fantastic conversation. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about the polls. We're going to be talking about the latest democratic
Process.
electoral. I don't know any words related to any of this. There's hanging
Holy crap.
chads,
Yeah.
and not just in Tarkov, boys and
Yep.
girls.
Yeah.
They're in Florida with Jesse. He knows all about him.
They're all mine. I have all the chads. Oof.
Yeah.
Well, how are you doing, man? How you been?
Better than Dr. Disrespect. I can say that.
Woo! Yes. You
We
are.
We like managed to avoid talking about it on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Because everything was still like breaking news.
Yeah.
Kind of. And then we like after we like were like, you know, thanks for hanging, you know, whatever, peace. Then it was like, so anyway, like about and we like riffed for a while. And I will say that now granted, we had limited evidence
At the time.
At the time.
Yes.
We still, I mean, you're always going to have limited evidence, especially if
of course.
your name's Chander, but that's a
Chander. Yeah.
it's a different
Chander.
story altogether. That's an inside joke. You'd have to be one of the like 75 people here 20 minutes ago for that one. But and we both had like a sneaking suspicion that what was going to happen happened.
And it happened.
And it happened. And bro, I was at Storyland for the last couple of days.
That can't be a real place. Storyland.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
I'm seeing it's giving like theme park, but just of books.
Well, yeah, like Humpty Dumpty and, you know, all the other kids' books that I.
Why were you there?
Because, well, so my in-laws
call it a library.
Some call it a library. Storyland, yeah, Storyland. Sorry, it's Borders. Actually, I was at Barnes and Noble.
Sorry,
me, dude.
Sorry.
Why are we?
You were at
drunk. I'm like drunk without being drunk.
You were at Storyland.
No, so my in-laws, my two brother-in-laws, they have 4 kids.
Yeah.
And that are all like between the ages of 2 and 5. So and
Gotcha.
then they were camping up there. There's like a big campsite up in the sticks. So I just went up there and hung out. We did a little bit of camping, and by that I mean I roasted marshmallows by the RV, and then I went to a hotel.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Cops.
I'm with you on that camping.
Yeah.
By the way.
But oh man, just hanging out at Storyland. It's imagine Disney, but like 50 years older in technology. Everything is made of wood.
Yeah.
And you're just surrounded by other people's toddlers. It was actually a good time.
Oof.
We spent most of our time trying to get the kids on the rides that they weren't tall enough to go on. Like we took us about a solid 30 minutes to like train. She was like literally an inch.
Yeah. So you're like stand up on the toes a little bit.
It was so funny. It was like literally, you know, tippy toes, and of course she's like, you know, it's like you got to be more subtle.
Yeah.
Like
subtlety. We got to learn subtlety. Yep.
You know, so then we're like, all right, now just a little bit on your toes, and of course she goes up on her heels. It's like no, the other. Oh, like how do I?
This is gonna go bad.
I need a whiteboard. I don't know how. You think I'd be better dealing with Twitch chat all day? I could explain these types of things, but
you need a 6-hour video.
But yeah, so I came back after all of that. All that's to say, I came back, opened up Twitter, and was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because it was
the eruption.
There were flames.
Yeah.
There were flames, and it's some, and of course now Overskilled said that there's more news. Is there more actual news today? Did something else happen?
I don't know. I think I saw the Rolling Stone posted an article that he.
Oh no.
Basically that he knew. Like confirmed that he knew she was underage. I don't. We
should probably like do a very brief summary of
what. I don't even like need any more news. I mean, basically the TLDR is kind of out of nowhere. A former but not current Twitch employee just kind of dropped a tweet that was like, didn't even mention Dr. Disrespect, just tweeted like he was banned for sending inappropriate messages to a minor through Twitch
Yeah,
Whispers.
Because 2 or 3 years ago, he was banned off of Twitch, kind of out of nowhere,
Yeah,
without any, and we've all been
The rest
wondering,
of us out of nowhere. Yeah.
all been wondering for years what happened, why he got banned, what it had
Yeah.
to do with. There was all kinds of speculation, all kinds of, and I don't think really, like, of all the things
Yeah.
that I remember,
The-
I don't even remember what the reasons were that everyone was speculating, but
Yeah.
none of them were this.
No. I
I
mean, maybe some
and-
people were, but I feel like the prevailing theories were there was like contract stuff. Like he was trying to like leverage his Twitch contracts for bigger contracts from YouTube, and he pissed Twitch off. And so they were like, well, we're just going to revoke our contract. And at the time that seemed the most likely. I was like, oh, that's interesting, whatever.
Yeah, and like a year or two before, there was the drama where basically he, for some reason, came on stream not as the Doc, but as Guy Beam,
Yeah.
like without the wig and everything, and like cried on stream admitting that he had basically cheated on his wife.
Yep.
Which is like fucking A, and
Yeah.
he managed to actually come back from that.
Yeah.
And because I think honestly most of his audience just doesn't give a and then he got banned off of the platform, off of Twitch, ended up streaming on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, like you said, some ex-Twitch employees just kind of came out with some, it's kind of vague but
Yeah.
not quite vague accusations that
Yeah.
the reason why it happened like within days of like 4 years. People were saying maybe there's an
Oh,
NDA
yeah.
or something. I don't
Dude,
know. It
who
all just
knows?
feels like such wannabe speculation.
Yeah.
But that accusing him of effectively using Twitch Whispers to like sext a minor.
Yeah.
And of course, all of the conversation, first of all, a massive portion of the internet was like, and to some extent, reasonably so,
Yeah.
being like, wait a minute, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
We need evidence.
Yeah.
And then as a little bit more evidence here and there started to trickle in, there was like conspiracy theories on one end, and then the other people also then kind of doubling down and basically saying, unless I get a photocopy of the DMs,
Yeah. Which
I won't believe
it was
anything.
the classic internet, right? You had the whole spectrum going on. Of course, the loudest people you have on both sides. I think most reasonable people exactly did that. Like, I think it was a reasonable thing to initially go, wait, what? I mean, is this guy a Twitch employee? Where is he getting this information? Like, that seems serious. And then other Twitch employees were ex-Twitch employees were like, I'm so glad this is finally out, which that kind of leaned a little bit more credibility. Every single time Doc tweeted, it made him sound worse. Like the first thing he does was like, no wrongdoing was acknowledged. And I was like, because at the time it was super new, and it was like I was saying, you said there's apparently more news today. I don't even like, it doesn't matter. Everything he did was all that mattered. Like in retrospect, like he was like, no wrongdoing was acknowledged. And I was like, that's not, I didn't do that.
Yeah, he said no wrongdoing was acknowledged and they paid me.
Yeah. And then he tweeted the next day and he was like, all right, I got to get out ahead of this. He was like, nothing illegal happened. And I was just like, but you haven't said you didn't do it. And then he just tweeted that he did it. And so.
Yeah, and then basically, so
that's all you need, really.
The response, he tweeted this big long thing basically saying, yes, I own it, and it's crazy now that it's like 7 years ago that this happened. He basically said like, I own it. I had a conversation, and it was funny because right before this, like this email went around or this letter or whatever that kind of painted a sort of compelling narrative for how like, that explanation actually conforms with all of the evidence, and if true would be like, then it's totally Twitch and he didn't do anything wrong. If that was true, and then like, so I was like, And then of course I see like one peg and a million other people come out with videos talking about like boom. And then an hour later, he's like, I did the bad thing. It was like, oh my God.
And
like,
then what was crazy too is that he couldn't even commit. He tweeted that, and then he edited the tweet, and he edited out the word minor, and then the internet was like immediately like, bro, what the hell? And then he just edited it back in.
I was watching the Asmongold
which is
like react.
Yeah.
And he literally was doing the react, reading the tweet, and someone's like, he edited it and he refreshed and it was there. And then he refreshed again, took out the word minor, and then added it back in. And it was like, and it was funny because there was a point where it was reasonable to say, we need to wait for evidence.
Of course. Yeah.
And oh God, see, this is like wicked complicated because literally the last thing you want, anybody can accuse anybody of anything.
Of course.
And you can't have somebody just accuse someone of a thing without evidence
For sure.
and ruin them without evidence. Now, there's also on the flip side that like a lot of times it's, you know, if it's something happened in a room at a party, there's not evidence.
Yeah.
It's a really challenging thing and you can't just call everybody a liar,
For sure.
you know? So, it's like nuanced and yeah, we're not here to like legislate that whole thing, but
but we don't have to. Like that's what's crazy.
Well, yeah. So people were basically saying he wouldn't do that, you know, whatever. He didn't do that. It's now that was the thing is that when so many people heard the accusations and they didn't say, we'll see.
Yeah.
Because you know, the moment the accusations come out, he's going to have to say something. Lawyers are going to have to say something.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. That's when you sit back and you go, I'll see.
Exactly.
But you had half of the internet going, he's a P word. And then the other half of the internet going, it's all a lie. And it's like.
And it just galvanizes. Each side just kind of like gets galvanized into that opinion where it definitely happened or it definitely did happen. And yeah, like you said, reasonable people were like, oh, that's a really serious thing. We'll see. You know what I mean? Like I don't. How am I supposed to know? And I predicted that it was going to end just as convoluted as it began. Like that. Like I couldn't believe he tweeted it, and was like, I did it. That was crazy. It was. That whole tweet was disgusting. It was like hard to read. The justification have been making was crazy.
People have been making the comparison, which I think is, I like hate to say it, but I think it's like appropriate in that, you know, like the whole Chris Hansen, like, why don't you have a seat over here? You know, that To Catch a Predator kind of thing. What he basically said was, I was talking with somebody who was a minor.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't explicitly say at that point whether he knew or not.
Yeah.
Which I think was actually an important distinction. It would be immoral and he would be if he thought he was talking to like a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, that would just prove further that he's the scumbag that, you know, he already demonstrated himself to be by cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
But so that left like just a little bit of ambiguity there where that's what everybody was then hanging on.
Yes.
Did he know or not?
Everyone
Did he
was
know or
hanging
not?
on that.
But what he said was, I was talking with a minor. The conversation kind of got, you know,
a few times
inappropriate
got to the point where I think he was trying to imply it wasn't exclusively that type, like the whole conversation like that, but he was like, it got to that several times or whatever.
Yeah. And then he said, but of course, I wasn't going to do anything, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's always the guy who comes with the pizza and the vodka for the 13-year-old. That's like, oh, I wasn't going to do anything.
That's
I have
what I'm
condoms
saying.
And I just popped a Viagra.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's so crazy. It's so crazy that anybody would believe it. You know what I mean? Like the thing that immediately came to my mind as I was reading that is it's just like it was just that's a child's argument. You know what I mean? Like I see my 3-year-old take a big Lego thing and lift it up over his head. His brother just spent an hour building it, and I go, "Hey!" And he looks at me and I'm like, "Don't smash that." He goes, "I didn't. I wasn't gonna."
Yeah.
It's like, I caught you before you did it. You were going to smash it. I know that. But you didn't. And so you're like, I was like, dude, it's like the dude admitted to cheating on his wife before and was inappropriately messaging a minor. And he's like, everybody knows how I feel about that stuff. I would never do that. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? I just couldn't believe.
It's more of the, whenever you have like the hyper conservative religious guy that, is out saying that, standing against gay marriage, that you end up finding out that he's like been with like male hookers for the last 6 months or whatever, like, and he gets caught with his pants down by paparazzi, and it's like,
and that was the thing, is like, my take on it is like, at no point I didn't get, like, I understood conceptually, but it made very little difference. Like, I can understand how it would make some difference, but I didn't care at all about the, like, everyone was like, well, did he know her age? And I was like, okay, first of all, quick thing, most important tweet of this guy's life. It was 11 paragraphs long.
You would say that.
You would say a minor individual, parentheses, but I did not know at the time. So, like, come on, dude. And then secondarily, once again, it was like everybody in the comments became a lawyer all of a sudden. It was all law. But here's the thing. What we do know is that this happened long enough ago, and the cases were settled. Like I believe that no criminal charges were brought against him. So it's like, so what all the information is doing is influencing our opinion of him. Like, he's not being convicted, he's not under trial, he's not whatever. So it's like, so I say he would have said he didn't know. But even if you say he forgot to put it in the tweet, my thing is,
you don't.
You don't. But my thing is, he either knowingly sexted a minor or sexted a young person and without asking their age.
Yeah.
I arrive at the same conclusion of him and his character, right? Once again, he's not on trial. If he was on trial, that piece of information would maybe, change something, but he's not. He's just a dude tweeting about what happened in 2017. And either he's a dude streaming to 20,000 people every day, not asking the age of people he's being inappropriate with, or so it doesn't matter. He's a piece of either way. Like,
I just don't understand too. Like, first of all, in Twitch whispers is the funny. Why would you say anything in text? I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It could easily just be screenshotted and used as leverage against him.
Yeah.
And also, I would just assume every time I get every day. I don't know about you, and there's always mutual servers, Jesse, and it's always me and you.
Okay.
It's always and it's always some attractive female avatar with like an OnlyFans in their as the only link in their bio. Mutual servers, me and Jesse. That are sending me friend requests on Discord. No one wants to be my friends on Discord except for the hottest women on earth. Something tells me maybe they're not who they say they are.
Yeah.
Like, in what universe, Jesse? Even if let's assume you're single.
Yeah.
In what universe you get a message from like Pink Cutie 75?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you're so hot. I'd be like, you're a 17-year-old boy. This is not. You're trolling.
Yeah.
Like, what the. I don't know, dude. It's just such a hot mess, and I'm actually really, really, for some reason, I was actually surprised, but in some ways not surprised. So a lot of his like homies either weren't saying anything, or no. I put his homies in like two different categories. I see someone like Nick Merckx in like the trash can side of the category. I know that won't make some fans. I don't care. You don't have to like the same streamers I like. I don't have to respect the people that you're a fan of. Now someone else this is where I find out that he got canceled 5 years ago and I just didn't hear about it because I'm out of the loop. But like Tim the Tap Man, I have more respect for.
Oh, you didn't hear about what happened to him? No, I'm just kidding.
All I can say is I haven't seen him say any super hateful stuff.
Yeah. No, I know. It just becomes such a cluster.
Dude, everyone except for like 2 or 3 people who are like the clowniest of the clowns,
Yeah.
the worst of the worst, like on a dime, went way further than I thought.
Oh, I see what you're
By
saying.
instantly
Yeah.
being like, he's dead to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could say the word. He's the P word, which
Yeah.
is, I'm really surprised because I expected people to not, let's just say, like,
Yeah.
hypothetically, and again, I'm arguing this from, I'm trying to think about like his homies,
Yeah.
not from my perspective,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
if she was 17 and 11 months
Yeah.
and 3 weeks and 59 seconds,
Yeah.
right? And the age of consent in her state was 16.
Yeah.
That's like the closest you can get to the line where it's like underage, yes.
Yeah.
Ethical is like, wait a second. Okay, now it's, you know, it's as arbitrary as like you turn 21, you have your birthday.
Yeah.
Can't have the drink. Can't serve me the drink until midnight. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought that all of his homies were gonna
Argue
die
that.
on the hill of either she lied, she must have lied, or we need more evidence, knowing that no evidence was gonna come out. But they instantly went to like, he's a child predator.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just so crazy, dude. How like I'm saying this not because I'm like against cancel culture or anything.
Yeah.
Like I am, and it sucks, but it's good, and it should happen, but it's bad, but it's good, but humans suck. Humans are
Veritas
shitty.
is like imploding with all the qualifications because this is
It's
such
like
a
people who
dangerous
people who do
conversation.
shitty things deserve to have things happen to them.
Yes.
That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
But the desire to like have like, oh, someone on Reddit anonymously said a thing without evidence, burn, firebomb his house, and the elementary school that their kids go, like everything,
of course,
right? Like crazy as shit. And I was just amazed at how quickly it went from 0 to 60 with like gifts of wood chippers from people who I thought were going to be defending him. And I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like how quickly you fall.
For sure. For sure. I mean, in this case, very, very rightly so. I mean, this is like, it's such a, like, at the end of the day, so it's like, it's Dr. Disrespect, and he inarguably did so much for this industry, right? He provided a lot of entertainment for a long time. And so like the concept of Dr. Disrespect, you know, it's sad to see go because of how he moved it forward, which is why it got so much attention. But obviously the dude underneath, you know, the more and more evidence is coming out how much of a piece of shit he is, and then he just like retrospect, it just doesn't matter. His two pre-tweets were mad sus, and then his tweet admitting it was like, that's all I need. Like, you know what I mean? He admitted it. He's gross. He should be shunned. He should, you know, he shouldn't be hold company. Brands should drop him. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you see that as cancel culture, like that's crazy. Like a guy's like, yeah, I was inappropriately sexting a minor. And like, yeah, dude, Turtle Beach totally wants to sell his headphones. It's like, that's just, anyways.
It was cancel culture for the first 2 hours after the initial tweet from a guy that none of us had ever heard of.
Yeah.
That was like everyone being like, cancel him right now.
Yeah.
That's like, that's cancel culture.
And
The moment you got a little bit of evidence, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and then a little bit more, then it's like, now it's just what it's repercussions.
This is consequences. Yeah, someone said in chat, it's not cancel culture, it's consequences. So, but basically what I'm saying is past his tweet and it just admitting it, it's like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't even want to give him any more of my mental thought. Like, I don't care. Like, I saw, and I see what you mean, and I what you're saying is an interesting conversation, but like, personally, I just like, I don't care what Nick has to say. I don't care what Jake Sucky has to say. I don't care what, it's just like, what, like, whatever. Like, let's move on. The dude's a piece of shit. He left. I hope he's not so lost in the sauce that he really think he can like come back. I was like, dude.
I think he thought like his last message was like, I'm gonna be back. You're not. And I think like, I don't know that he can.
Yeah,
dude.
No way, dude. God,
he's gonna be on Kick in a week.
Away.
He's gonna be on Kick in a week, and he's gonna have 30,000 viewers.
I mean, you're not
most
wrong.
Of them are gonna be there screaming the P word at him. He's just gonna turn on like slow subscriber only mode, and or he just never comes back.
Yeah. So it's gross. He's gross. The whole thing is gross. Like, yes, like I totally agree with all the stuff you're saying, where it's like there is, nuanced adult conversations to have in like, at what point do you, X or Y, or can we remove our biases? If some people just hated him and wanted him to get canceled, so they hopped on the train early. Some people are still riding his dick and defending him. That, well, how, like, which is, it's so gross. But at the end of the day, it's like, this was a way, I don't want to use the word clean because it's gross, but this was a cut and dry. This ended up being more cut and dried than I ever thought it would be. And so it's like, we're here now. We have arrived. Like, it's okay. If you subbed to him, if you enjoyed him, if you enjoyed his content, we all did, man. I watched Doc. I've subbed to Doc. Like, but we can move forward now, knowing what we know, being like, sucks that guy was such a piece of shit. Let's leave him in the dust. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need freaking Dextero, tweeting every time he farts for the next 10 years. Like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The internet's a weird place.
the shame is the only shame. Well, there's lots of shame. The unfortunate shame is any and all damage that he may or may not have done.
Yeah.
That's the real shame.
For sure.
But one element, just as a content creator, is I'm just thinking about like all the talent involved in the production.
Yeah.
From the people doing the editing, the graphic design, the music.
Yeah, he undoubtedly had like a team.
Yeah.
Of people.
I just hope that I feel bad for those folks.
Yeah.
I hope that they're able to keep doing what they're clearly very good at doing.
People obviously are feeling some like guilt of like subbing to him for so long, or being like, imagine, having you hitched your horse to his wagon that close. You know what I mean? Imagine your whole career, your yearly salary comes from being his head editor or something like that. It's like, oh, that's a weird spot. So yeah, I hope that they all end up okay. And I know it's a long time ago, but obviously whoever was actually involved with some of those messages, there's been a bunch of other allegations ever since then from other people saying he was messaging them back then. It's like, it's gross. And so I hope, I don't know. Weird stuff. It's, but we can just move the F on. It's all stinky. But let me tell you what's not stinky. All right. Let me take a second and tell you about the first sponsor for the podcast tonight, which is Litter Robot. Veritas, I know you have extensive, not use. That made it sound weird. What's the word?
Well, listen, you don't know what
what word am I trying? Experience with the Litter Robot.
Yeah, well, actually, this is perfect timing because I was just gone for like 3 days, and being able to have,
as a cat dad,
the Litter Robot for my cat.
Yeah.
To be able to, that coupled with the feeder as well that Litter Robot has provided is, I can leave the house and we don't have to worry about someone cat sitting, having to worry about any of that stuff. Basically, everything's taken care of.
That's awesome.
We even one of the features that we hadn't used ever until recently was the ability to get my cat's weight.
Oh.
Because we've been watching her weight. We've been trying to figure, we don't want her to get, unhealthy. And it literally weighs our cat every time she goes and uses the litter box. Wow. But just coming home and seeing that she's been fed, that she's been using the litter box, the house doesn't smell. I came home, I didn't have to do any chores, didn't have to do anything. And it's just a fantastic product that saves me time, makes it so that I don't have to do cleanup chores.
Yep.
And is there anything more important than that when I want to just sit and game and chill, not scoop?
This is like what we thought robots would be when we were watching the Jetsons, stuff to make our lives easier so we can play more video games. But yeah, so Litter Robot is the solution to all your litter box problems. If you're a cat mom or a cat dad out there, you never have to scoop again. It's got self-cleaning technology that automatically cleans after every use. All sorts of smart features, like you said, the ability to weigh. There's an app, like you've said before, that you've used so that you can track when she goes or how much she weighs. They offer other things like the feeder as well. It can send notifications to your phone when it needs to be emptied. And the big thing is that it doesn't smell. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You mentioned that it can be in your wife's office as opposed to, you know, when I was a kid, we had cats and the litter box was as close to the garage door as possible because we just, you know what I mean? So, so that is awesome. Whisker is currently offering $50 off Litter Robot bundles as a special offer to listeners of the show. So you can go to stopscooping.com/podcast and use promo code podcast to save an additional $50 off any Litter Robot bundle. That ends up being about $100 off any Litter Robot bundle at stopscooping.com/podcast and use promo code podcast. Stopscooping.com/podcast, promo code podcast. Thank you so much to Litter Robot for sponsoring this episode. Promo code podcast. Why do we name our show the podcast? It's so hard to say.
I don't know, dude. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. We're the Paulcast, impulsive cast now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Tarkov stuff. Honestly, man, not like a whole lot going on. Nothing like there's a new event and there's some cool stuff to talk about. But I mean, we're kind of chilling. We're kind of more of the same. Before before we go to like the new event and stuff like that, it's so funny because I had one of those experiences of like, you know, you see people and they're like, dude, the cheating problem is so bad. Everyone's cheating. It's so bad. Like I've had my fair share of experiences. You know what I mean? I've had level 9s with 20 hours, you know, snipe me with a USP. And like, I've had my fair share of experiences, but it is a sobering reminder when you play with somebody that I guess people care about because they don't care about me. Dude, I hopped in. It had been a while. I hopped in with Desmond. We were getting some raids, dude. And in our first 10 raids, we had 2 different stream sniping speed hackers. Like he's just on a list
doing the LBLJ Super Mario speed run, zooming around half underground.
He's just on a list somewhere, and it was immediate. Like and it was reverse that. It was an education. It's like either they don't care enough to stream snipe me, which is totally fine, or I just don't get the reaction out of them that they want. You know what I mean? Which is also fine. Please, God, don't start doing it. But, dude, it was immediate. And it was all night. We were, like, swapping servers and stuff like that. And so it was just a reminder that, you know, when you see somebody tweeting they've had a bad experience, just because you haven't had a bad experience, you don't have to say they haven't had a bad experience. You know what I mean? You could be like, oh, I haven't experienced that. But, dude, it was
so and that actually goes both ways.
Yes.
In that if you have an experience, it doesn't mean that is the experience for everyone.
Yes. Very
because
much so.
I was very often the guy who was saying, I'm not doubting what's happening to you is happening to you. All I can say is I haven't experienced any of the things.
Yes.
Whether it was cheating, whether it was like bugs or like, you know, armor glitches or whatever, right? So people have to think a little bit more critically about what it is they're experiencing.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's something that, like, if it's a bug, maybe it's something that you do that I don't.
Do
you go into your hideout and try to fix your mask and then go back in? Like, right? Remember the mask
my God, where should have been
repair thing? So no, you just have to take a step back and say what's happening. What could be the cause and how could it be different for other people?
You're definitely right. Because I definitely don't want to come across like I'm saying it's definitely worse than I thought it was. I was just saying it was a sobering, educational moment for me. But you're absolutely right that the flip side of that is if you're a prominent streamer with thousands of viewers and you get stream sniped, and by speed hackers, that also doesn't mean that you can claim that the experience is, oh my God, everyone's getting cheated on every raid. It's so bad. It's like, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. But as somebody that doesn't encounter it as much, or like the blatants. So it's like when we talk about encountering cheaters, there's always two. It's like nobody knows how many closet cheaters they encounter. So we just have to throw that out because we don't know. What we remember are the blatants. You know what I mean? Like there was a thing with Hambino like a week ago. There was the level, like we remember those. And of those, I don't get the blatant crazy people super frequently. And I was playing with Desmond and I was like, dude, if this is what you have to deal with every night, then holy cow, how are you still playing this game?
I promise you that I'm not trying to drag it back into like the politics conversation, but this is really similar to that in that. So here's what you have. You have literally tens of thousands of people in the community watching. They're not playing. They're watching somebody experience this issue.
Yeah.
That is very likely very specific to that person.
Yeah.
And then that makes it seem like there is this big giant problem that there actually probably is. It's just much more subtle and latent.
Yeah.
So you have people who are like maybe sus about the more subtle, latent things, and they're probably right and onto something.
Yeah.
Being gaslit by the other people who were like, unless they were flying, then they weren't cheating. Because this happens in all, and then they're talking, living vicariously through Landmark or whoever else, basically being like, every one of my raids, when really what they mean is I was playing Hearthstone, watching Landmark, and every one of his raids was like that.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. So you just end up with everybody's wrong about everything all the time.
Yeah.
Like 87% wrong.
Yeah, including me. So like, very much so.
So it's like we all again, we need to like step back and think about what and why and who and how and where.
Yeah. And the thing that I would like to see more, you know, I feel like such a boomer even just saying that. You know what I'd like to see the young people ask? I would like to see the question just change to like, what's your experience been with the cheaters recently? Because I can answer that question. The question, how bad is the cheating situation? I can't answer that question. And if we dig into it, you know I can't answer that question, right? Like the cheating situation happens, there's hundreds of thousands of people playing. Like I don't know how bad it is. Maybe it's crazy bad on EU right now and it's not bad on NA. I play in work hours. It's Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. You know, how bad's the cheating situation? I don't know. It's not that bad. Like I can't answer that. How bad is the cheating situation? I don't run into a whole lot of blatants, but they're out there for sure. And it's really bad for some people and it's less bad for others. So it's like, just even that, like what question are we asking? Are we asking an answerable question? And what's your experience been with cheating recently is a question I can answer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but I say all that to say
you're lucky you're likable.
Why? What? Oh, it's
because honestly, I get the impression that there are specific reasons to like hate different people for different things.
Okay.
Right? I have a hateable way of everything.
I got a hateable face.
Yeah. You know, I get it. Landmark, some people just hate that he's like this rich, super successful dude, and they just want to, or they just want to leech off of like they want to cheat in front of the biggest audience.
Yeah.
You get someone like Desmond who is like the cheaters, and he's just like incredibly good, and also like doesn't hold back what he says.
No.
And a lot of the cheaters are just so dog that it's like the star quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, like. And they're the bully, but they've got like a shotgun, right?
Yeah.
They've got the power now all of a sudden that they never had. And then, you know, like, and someone like Ghost Freak is also like that in how insanely good he is. He doesn't have like 20,000 viewers.
Yeah.
But they just do it because he's, you know, unlikable in that way.
Yeah, to them.
Because he's just better than them, right? And then there are people that will go after Gingy because she's just a woman.
Yeah.
And a lot of other female streamers, I'm seeing a ton of clips of female streamers that are seeing all these speed hackers. raid after raid after raid, and you know that's because it's some edgelord incel.
Yeah,
that's
they'll
doing
even
that.
VoIP
You know
some
it.
edgelord incel stuff, and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah. So
No, I mean, it's funny because like I almost hate how good Desmond is because the cheaters are so bad that he like I would say it's like
it's still not
it's a
fair.
coin flip. Like 50% of the time Desmond still wins.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I was playing with him not this time on Saturday, but like months ago I was playing with him and I hadn't seen a speed hacker in forever. And the dude was flying around. He didn't want to kill us because he didn't want us to report him. But he was, and it's funny. I mean, he was calling out Desmond's name. He was like, Desmond, who's your friend? And all this kind of stuff. And he was, and I was like, let's go. Let's go. And Desmond was like, no. Wait. And he just, dude, he waited for his opportunity and just like, it was like 5 minutes. I was like, dude, this is boring. Let's go. Let's not entertain. I got him. And I was like, Jesus, dude. He knows how to, it's still a coin flip. So, but he's like, he's training them.
Oh yeah,
he's
so right.
so
Back
good.
to my original point is that you are an above average player, but you're not god
Not even
tier,
close.
you know, but you're just like a nice dude
Yeah.
that like doesn't really have like enemies that everybody generally likes. So the cheaters are probably like, yeah, Jesse's cool. We're not gonna fuck with him. And I remember I've seen the kinds of conversations that they have. I mean,
Yeah.
you said earlier that there's a list. I mean, there
is.
There are,
Yeah.
right? Like they have discords where these edgelord incels get together and plan who they're gonna with. And there are people who are like protected and people who they specifically target. And yeah,
I'm like I'm right in the center. Like I'm not good enough for them to care to stream snipe me. I'm not like a dick enough. I'm nice enough, and I'm not like famous enough because that's what they go for. They go for the players that are the best because they feel inferior to them. They go for people that are dicks because they feel like they're like Batman. I don't know, and they go for people that are famous because it's a big audience. Yeah, I'm just like I'm bobbing and weaving my way through.
Hey man, if it works.
It works, bro. It works. So, anyways, okay. So all that to say, we got a new event in the Tarkov sphere. That's not Twitter. And it's a really interesting one. And I kind of don't hate it. Okay. So here's the quest. Well, here's the event. There's a new quest from Therapist. And the quest is you have to turn in every colored keycard, every labs keycard. Turn it in. That seems impossible. There's new barters.
Do they have to be found in raid?
No. There's new barters from Mechanic, level 1 Mechanic, for each card. All of those barters are just for different amounts of tank batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Tank batteries.
I picked up like 2 tank batteries ever in history.
Yeah. Tank batteries are spawning 100% on customs. 3 different tank batteries per raid. 1 in dorms, 1 in New Gas, and 1 in Fortress.
So far, this event seems kind of cool.
Each tank battery is guarded by a group of raiders. So the event is...
Tell me more.
The event is play customs, kill the raiders, get the tank batteries, extract with them, hoard them, barter them for the colored key cards, complete the quest. So it's interesting. It seems like a lot to follow, you know what I mean? But it's I think I like this event for a few reasons. Now, it's not a perfect event. Here's the downside. It is hard to extract with a tank battery, or 2 or 3 because of how heavy they are. And mules and Abdablos 2s are, 2 to 300,000 rubles on the flea market. And
Mm-hmm.
you need, so assuming you had no key cards and you wanted to do this event and barter for them all, like you can buy the key cards off the flea market, but like red is 40 million rubles. Assuming you didn't have 40 million rubles and you didn't have any key cards and you wanted to participate in the event and you wanted to complete the tasks, I think you need 40 tank batteries to barter for them all. Cause it's like,
Can you still put them in Epsilon containers?
no, they changed
Oh,
that.
is that new?
Yes. As of this event, I think.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. So that's the only thing where I think it would have been sick if they halved the weight of the tank batteries for this event, because
Mhm.
because it ends up being a fun event for me because I can afford 400,000 ruble stims every raid. I get a tank battery, I hit the mule, I maybe go try and get a second one because I can run forever now because I hit the mule and the SJ6 and the Trimadol. Like I can afford 700,000 rubles worth of stims. So if they were lighter and it was, yeah, and I have max strength, yeah. So if they were lighter and like easier to get out with one, like it should be relatively easy to get out with one and then hard to get out with like multiple. But the reward is that you get multiple, right? So that's the only thing I would say, like, oh, maybe this event, you know, like they could change that. But conceptually, I think it's cool. I think it's just like a cool kind of train of thought where like there's a thing that I need to turn in for a quest, and I know where that thing is spawning because of this event, and that thing is being guarded by raiders. Like that was kind of what we thought. Remember when they added raiders to labs and they were like, eventually they're going to like roam in packs in other places. And that's kind of what we thought. It was like, oh, it'd be cool if there was like a resource we need. And the raiders were like transporting the resource. Like we had all kind of theory crafted that way back in like 2017, 2018 when they added labs. And we thought that would be cool. And this is kind of it, right? Like there's 3 different groups of raiders. They're protecting an item. You need that item. You turn it in. You can get something really expensive. And then the other side of it is you don't like, this is an achievement quest. The reward for the quest, there's no XP. There's no money. You get like some of the fancy DSF flares, the ones like the green flare you shoot up that makes all the scavs friendly to you.
Oh,
you get like 5 of those and you unlock a barter for that flare. But you get an achievement. So this is basically an event where if you want to participate, you get an achievement and that achievement stays on your account forever. So that's the flip side of it too, where it's an event where if you think it's kind of toxic and you're like, I don't really want to farm tank batteries, you don't have to. You're not missing anything. You're not like, oh, this unlocks the spear and everybody wants the spear. And you're like, God, now I have to do this stupid thing. Like, but so I think it's pretty cool. And one of the things that I've been liking about it is that it splits up the contested areas on the map. So normally when they do events like this, it's like the all boss event on Shoreline. All the bosses were at Resort. So everybody on the server only goes one place, which is Resort.
Yep.
But because there's one of these at New Gas, there's one of them at Dorms, there's one of them at Fortress, it does 2 things. One, all of the initial fights aren't with the whole server. It's just with the other guys kind of close to you. So it doesn't feel like 4th party, 5th party, 6th party.
Yeah.
And it removes or greatly reduces the concept of God spawn. During the all boss event, it's like if you spawned right by the resort, you just win. You just get to go up and kill the bosses, turn around, kill the players that come up to you, and it's GG's. If you spawned at the pier on Shoreline, you're like, should I just grenade myself and reset? You know what I mean? So it splits the attention. It makes spawns feel much better. And if you want to go Giga Chad mode and like try and get all 3 and take every PvP fight on the map, you can. But a lot of people that play more casually are able to like spawn in, push Fortress. If they win that fight, they just grab the battery and leave. So they get to progress through the quest. They don't have to fight everyone on the server. And so in that sense, I feel like it actually is a pretty fun event. I just feel like, I guess my metric for fun in an event is how many people I hope enjoy it. And most events are like the people that play 6,000 hours a month enjoy them and everybody else doesn't. And this feels like an event that you can get enjoyment out of, even if you can't wipe a whole lobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seems like one of the least bad
Yeah.
events that I can recall in recent memory, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think it's pretty cool. And then also, even if like if you don't even want to do the event, like if you don't care about the achievement, it's also just like a moneymaker because you can also buy the tank batteries on the flea market. So like tank batteries shot up in price to about 4 million rubles per, and they're down at about 2.5 million rubles right now. So it's like you could just buy the cards and turn them in if you want to. You could buy the batteries to barter for the cards if you wanted to. You could go get the batteries to barter for the cards, or you could just go get batteries and sell them for 3 mil a pop. And so that facet of it made even more people interested in the event because the guy that's like, oh, I don't care about that achievement would normally just be like, well, I'm not going to play customs then. But now they're like, I can get some, there's 3 million ruble items in every customs raid. Like, ooh, I might go try and get that. You know what I mean? So even more people are involved now, which feels good. Feels good. I was talking to,
Sounds good.
yeah, I was talking to chat the other day where I wish more events, like what I ended up doing was I logged on, I saw the event, I spent 150 million rubles buying all the Labs key cards and I just turned them in. And the reason was because like I don't want a quest. I didn't want the frustration of being like, oh, this is the last one I need for the red key card barter and I keep dying with it on me. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll just buy it and then try and farm my 150 million back via the batteries. And that way, if I die, it doesn't mean as much to me because like I already completed the quest. But that got me thinking about, I wish more events potentially and more quests. I like events like this and I like a lot of the events they've done in the past, but I think it'd be also cool to have events where death doesn't gatekeep progress. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think there should be quests where death gatekeep progress. I think there should be events where death gatekeeps progress. But it seems like most of them do. Especially ones that are like long-term ones that like you have a week, you know what I mean? To complete this quest or whatever.
And the changes that they made recently to make it that's found in Raid, which like it's so nebulous to me. I almost completely forget.
Yeah.
All that's happened, but like I just remember they made changes. It seems like that was like a mini version of this.
Yeah.
In that, just by virtue of being able to take an item that you need like 20 of or whatever, and put it in your secure container, it's like a save state, a save point.
Yes.
You know, it's because Tarkov is you're already losing the time and the gear.
Yeah.
Like, let me keep some progress.
I agree completely. Like I was talking more specifically about events, but like I'll shout from the heavens that I believe so strongly that all of the quests in the game right now that are like, go find 7 power cords, all of those I should be able to put in my secure container and die and still turn those in.
Yep.
It should be, in my opinion, on BSG to craft more quests like the Golden Pocket Watch, where you're not just looking like, if a trader's like, I need power cables, our computers are failing, it doesn't matter how you get them. I need them. Like, you should be able to just go get it, find it, put it in your secure container, and bring it in. I get it. We shouldn't be able to buy them off the flea and turn them in. I actually agree with that. But if I go looking for power cords and find power cords and stick 2 in my secure container and die, I should be able to give those in. BSG could balance it by just being, oh, this trader wants the golden AK. They want the golden pocket watch, the golden Zippo. This trader wants this specific med case that's spawning on customs. And then every time I die with it, I have to go back and try it. And they could balance it that way by making, bespoke quests where you're looking for a specific item, and then making quests where it's like, I just need a bunch of these. And then it doesn't feel like every quest is trying to dick you. It just feels like some of them, and that feels better. And basically, in a similar fashion, I wish they did more events like this where this was happening and it was like kill 50 raiders or kill 50 PMCs. Because not only that does two things, in my opinion. One, not only does it allow progress to be made, even if you die, but secondarily, the only other negative of this event is that because Customs is like a medium-sized map, you can spawn, get to the battery, and leave in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have, like, if you've got 5 million rubles and you've got a tank battery on you, that tank battery is worth 60% of your entire stash value. And somebody hit the power button and I'm standing in Fortress and I have a factory key. Why am I staying? You know what I mean? So that's the other thing where I like the tank battery event. And once again, it's moderation. I don't think all events should be the way that I'm saying right now. But I think it would also be cool where events incentivize the player to stay in a raid, to continue playing the raid. So like maybe
imagine if they airdropped them in with 10 minutes left of the raid.
Yeah.
It was a guaranteed airdrop where imagine if they drop 3 with 15 minutes left in the raid or however long, 100%.
Right? That would be a great idea.
Then if there's 3 people, you might get lucky and nobody will come contest it, or all 3 might go for the same one and you might back off and maybe go for the other. And
that's actually such a great idea. If the 3 spawned, but a 4th would get airdropped in at the 10-minute mark if there were any PMCs in the raid. That's a cool idea, because then if you wanted to go Giga Chat and try and get all 4, you would contest all the fights and then maybe live long enough to that would be sick. But even just if I
thought about that for 8 seconds.
Yeah, 8 actual seconds. But even if it was just like the event was like kill 100 scavs, you would stay in the raid. You'd be like, oh, more scav. Like some people, you would like your decision to leave would be much more like the immersive decisions to leave. My armor's fried. I'm low on ammo. I don't have any meds. Let's get out and reset. As opposed to like, I shot 3 bullets, killed a guy. I'm overweight and the tank battery's here. The raid's 60 seconds old. We should leave. Oh yeah, I'm doing like slam poetry.
I killed the guy, and then I died. Like something. It's too rhythmic.
I should have. But you know what I mean? So this is not, I don't want this to come across as like negative Nancy Jesse. I think this event is one of the better ones they've done in a while. But my ability to purchase my way through it just got me thinking about like the reason I purchased my way through it is because I wanted to avoid the feeling of death gatekeeping my progress, because all the other quests in the game, death gatekeeps your progress. And I'm so done with that. So that just got me thinking like, oh, we should have some of those. And it would be better if we had some that weren't, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then the only other thing, like through that conversation that we were thinking, maybe we may have talked about this before. I think they should do tiered rewards, man. Like, so this is a made up quest, but if the quest was kill 50 raiders for this event, the event should be kill 50 raiders and you get this reward, kill 100 and you get this reward, kill 250 and you get this reward.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because how they balance these events is always, it's the pendulum is swinging back and forth one way. It's either so easy that all the streamers are like, the event's over already and now I got to put up with this bullcrap on customs. Like I already got the achievement. Or they make it so only the dudes that play 27 hours a day can achieve it and nobody else wants to even try. But if they did it tiered, if there were 3 levels of it, everyone in the community could feel like they would participate. And I bet there would be a lot of the more casual people that maybe got the first tier and went, ooh, I kind of got that quicker than I thought. I might be able to get that second tier, which is, I would think a good game design decision. Like,
yeah, it's just as long as the rewards are, if they make it so the tier 1 is like 14 wires, tier 2 is 300 rounds of BP.
Yeah. The rewards have to be, but
the Zappa container.
And here's the thing. They're already going the right direction in that this is now the 3rd event they've done where the reward for it 70% of the reward was just an achievement. And achievements don't do anything. They just stick around. Like, these achievements are just badge achievements. They're doing these events that they're never going to do again. And so when you see that on someone's account, you're like, oh, they've been playing since back when that event happened. So it could just be varying levels of money, XP, and then an achievement. But the actual PNG of the achievement, the picture, could just have like marks on it that you got or a crown on it that you got the S tier version of that achievement. That would bring so much more of the community into these events. It would make everybody feel like they had a goal to accomplish towards. And I have been a huge advocate that the guys up at the top, the Giga Chads, the Miis, the guy that plays 60, 70 hours a week, you don't have to give them that much better stuff. Make their PNG look slightly different than anyone else's PNG, and you're good. You don't have to give them 1,000,000 XP. You don't have to give them cool clothes. You don't have to, like, just make their achievement thing look a little bit different, and everyone's going to grind it. It's crazy. So I think stuff like that would be cool. This is not complaining, though. This is actually thought experiments that came around from my chat as a result of being like, yo, this event's actually pretty cool. So it's more of like, it's kind of like what we talked about last week with the armor, where the armor change is good. And because it's good, it has us thinking about the armor. And as we're thinking about the armor, we're like, ooh, maybe they should try this next. It's because the change was good that we're having these ideas or criticisms, not because it was bad. So it's the same thing. It was like all these conversations I was having with my chat came out of conversations about how this event was pretty fun. So
yeah, it's the equivalent of you just had a nice meal and you're like, you know what wine would be perfect with this?
Yeah, we should go here for dessert. That would be sick. Ooh, if they sold something like that here, it's like you're not criticizing the menu on the restaurant. You're just like, this would go really well with this.
Yeah.
And my metric for this kind of stuff recently is the most amount of people that can enjoy it is a good thing. What?
You're a man of the people. That reminded me that when I was at the Storyland in the camp that they were at, like the RV thing, they had like a wine tasting, and I bought wine and I left it in the car.
Ooh, isn't that how they store it at the vineyards? In bottles in like the back of an
97
SUV?
degree trunk. Yeah. Pretty
It's called aging. It's aging the wine.
Botulism.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the wine. Get on up.
Nice. It's podcast time.
Okay. For a second, I didn't think you knew what I was talking about. And that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, absolutely know what you were talking about.
Come on. Wait. Did we talk about this before? You haven't seen Cool Runnings, have you?
Yeah, I've seen Cool Runnings.
Oh.
You're acting like I haven't seen a movie?
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time.
Oh, bro, I saw that when I was like 7. I can't.
Oh, you should watch it tonight. Come on.
You have kids, so you probably watched it yesterday.
No, I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but we used to quote it all the time. You want to kiss my lucky egg?
I couldn't tell you a single line from the entire movie.
Yeah, dead Sanka. Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Oh my God, Corbin. I don't know. That just reminded me, dude. This is around the same time that. Remember The Big Green? Remember that movie?
The Big Green. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
This is such a vivid.
Yeah.
A vivid memory of mine. I remember sitting. And my dad. Okay, God. There's so many. I'm painting a tableau here.
Layers.
My dad had a waterbed.
Of course.
So I'm already saying
of course.
So much. And I used to just like when I was like 9 or whatever, I used to just like love jumping on the waterbed. I popped it once.
Zoinks.
Whoops.
That's not good.
And I remember just chilling in my dad's room because that's where the VCR was, watching The Big Green.
Classic.
And I ate an entire container of Tums like it was candy. Not knowing that it wasn't candy.
Wait, so was he there with you? Did he just not notice?
No, absolutely not. He was not there. No.
Dude, what did your stomach feel like? you've got to still be reaping the repercussions of that. That's crazy. I
What?
love Tums. I used to request them and Ricola, because I actually liked them like candy, but a whole pack of Tums, dude.
After a while, I mean, it's just your body. It's not like absorbing all of that.
I don't know. It just feels like it would. I mean, you're right. Obviously, you're alive. You're fine.
I mean, maybe that's the reason why that's the cause of my.
Yeah.
You would think that I wouldn't have had acid reflux problems after that. Like that would almost be the
Yeah. Your Spider-Man getting bit by a
inoculation.
spider moment.
Yeah.
Tum man.
It's calcium carbonate. Okay, what happens? Nope. Okay, what? I just typed. You ever start typing
Yes.
over one?
Yep. Yep.
It's like whack on it,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and somehow Google's like, "Did you mean what happens when you eat a whole thing of Tom?" You're like, I don't know how you knew that. What happens when you die? Okay, what happens when?
I mean,
When
if
you
you type
swallow,
what
when
happens,
you swallow, I type what happens when, and I'm going to read to you the list. When you take Tums, when Tums expire, when you die, when you stop taking Ozempic, when you swallow gum, when you stop drinking alcohol, when you block a phone number, when you restrict someone on Instagram, when we die, when you have a stroke. That was like a roller coaster of emotions.
But the first two being about Tums is crazy.
I didn't even. I mean, I did just type Tums what is earlier, so. What happens when you eat a whole bag of cherries, a whole bottle of melatonin gummies? Oh my god, a whole bag of Takis? I don't know what the fuck any of this is. Okay, wait, and a whole bottle of Tums. Calcium carbonate is not very poisonous. Few people die from an antacid overdose, and recovery is quite likely. However, high calcium levels can cause serious heart rhythm disturbances as well as kidney stones and damage to kidney function. What happens if you take too many Tums? You can get an overdose of I mean, maybe it was like there was only half of the container. I just remember my dad being like, "What happened to all the Tums?"
Not very poisonous is not the what you want to hear.
The most.
Hey, I just ate this leaf. That's not very poisonous. Well, oof ba boof.
Ate another bottle of Tums is the title of this Reddit post. r/sugar free. I really, really hate myself right now. Anyone who says sugar isn't addictive can go themselves. What is?
Are you eating Tums instead of candy?
I'm so confused as to what I'm reading, dude.
We should bring back Reddit on Reddit and just like find crazy posts. Anyways, there's a few other little Tarkov things that I want to talk about.
Back to other things that make us sick to our stomach.
Sick to our stomach. But before that, something that definitely doesn't make me sick to my stomach, I want to tell you guys about the second sponsor for today's episode, and that is HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy and fun. Can't speak highly enough about HelloFresh. Used it for forever. I have learned so much about cooking through that process. It's been a thing I do with my kids. I always take the little bit of extra stuff and put it on a cutting board for them, and they cut it up. And it's been so nice to be able to legitimately take out the most annoying part of grocery shopping, which is sitting down and being like, what do we want to eat this week? How much freaking onion do we need? And write the whole list and do all that. We get to just pick, boom, boom, boom. I want these meals. It shows up with the exact amount of ingredients you want. There's over 50 recipes every week you can choose from. There's all sorts of customization options on extra protein, certain ones that you can cook super quickly, certain ones that are only 650 calories. It's a dream. It's great.
You know the feeling when you clean out your refrigerator and your freezer and you recognize how like 98% of what you bought just went bad and you're throwing out and you're wasting? HelloFresh is exactly the reciprocal opposite. Good feeling where the only time I don't feel like a unhealthy, degenerate man-child is when I actually like stand up in the kitchen and I'm like,
Yep.
not using the microwave as my primary source of nutrition, and I actually like it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like an adult
Yep.
to have real food and to be able to cook it
Yep.
without having to go to the grocery store because I hate going to the
For
grocery
sure.
store.
For sure.
So yeah.
So it's awesome. Once again, insane amount of customization. They have all sorts of seasonal recipes. Like right now, they're doing Taste of Summer, Old Bay shrimp and sausage, grilled steak, lettuce wraps, so much more. They've got all sorts of add-ons you can do. It's super convenient to be able to pick how many meals you want, how often you want them. You want to skip a week, you want to skip 2 weeks, you want to come back, you want to double it up. You're doing it for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. It all scales. It's all easy. It's done. And we've really enjoyed using it. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/podcastapps for free appetizers for life. 1 appetizer item per box as long as your subscription is active. That's free appetizers for life at HelloFresh.com/podcastapps. Thank you so much to HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, for sponsoring this episode.
I feel like all these deals, man. If you signed up for if everyone in your family signed up for HelloFresh, it would create a singularity because you'd have every part of your meal free for life.
Yeah.
It would all don't think about it for too long. Don't think about it for too long. It would cancel everything out. Don't think about it for too long.
Form. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be dividing your meal plan by 0 and be creating an infinite energy machine.
I think that logic is extremely sound.
I concur.
Okay, so a few random things. I'm gonna send you this tweet from Nikita because he tweeted some screenshots of Factory and the new Factory. Remember, they're redoing Factory, and I know you liked Factory. And it looks really cool. In that first screenshot, you can actually see, you can see through the broken windows at the top, which is cool. And people were able to isolate with those little silos exactly what building on Customs it is. Because we've always known that Factory is in Customs. And it is the building, you know how, basically, you know the bridge over the highway that with the train on it that you can look at the gas station, New Gas, where he spawns, Rashal spawns.
Yep.
It's basically right there. If you where that train just goes into a gate, it's between where you hit the power and the Skelly on the other side. Reamer and all the smart people.
Am I looking at? Okay, wait. So is forklift spawn to the right, and that's glass hallway that we're looking at in that first picture?
First picture, yes.
But it's a slightly different version. And then that has to be you are out of the broken end of the wall, 3rd floor factory. You know, the 3rd floor office.
Yeah.
You go out through the broken wall, out onto the metal plank, and you walk a little along the girder.
Oh,
and then look down.
That second picture. Yeah.
So that's where there used to be the hoppers, the big metal hoppers that you could jump into and just get stuck in.
Yes. I think those big boilers are the new hoppers.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It has to be because you can see the platform over on the left and then the hole in the wall on the right, which is where the expansion.
Yes.
That used to be a solid wall where the weapon case.
Yeah. Now that's the medical expansion and the new. Yeah. So it looks cool. The lighting looks cool. I think I wasn't too blown away that they were redoing Factory, but as someone who's been playing that map for so long, it is just cool to see them place it in the actual map. You can actually see Customs outside and see some better ambient lighting because all those windows up there, you can't really see anything outside of them. So it's cool. Dude, that is such a no-brainer IMO to just smash Customs and Factory together. That'd be so cool if they were one map. I don't know. I think it'd be sick.
Yeah, and I feel like they could make it so that Factory only had 3 spawns.
Yeah.
And sorry, if Customs was just Customs and Factory.
Yeah.
And all they would need to do is just put the building where it needs to be, and then add a couple of spawns inside of the factory.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to be. It doesn't need to be a full raid's worth of players in the factory. You can only put 2 or 3 people.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
So yeah, it's cool. So there's that.
So now factory, you can also get like
11 frames per second.
25% frame rate.
Yeah. Yep. And then the only other thing, Nikita tweeted a picture. So in the podcast, in the Tarkov TV they did, he said that they're adding with the new wipe a bunch of new hideout modules, which I think is cool. I love the hideout. One of them is like a cultist thing, a cultist shrine. You can build a shrine to the cultists. And we were like, okay, why? He tweeted a screenshot, and it's your stash on the right, and it's a small stash on the left. Here, I'll just send it to you. And you can select 5 items that you would like to sacrifice to the cultists in your hideout. And so, like, in the screenshot, it was like an empty fuel can, a half-used weapon repair kit, and nails. And it says up at the top, max items 5. And you sacrifice it. So I'm very interested if this is basically just round 2 of the, like, scav junk box, where you sacrifice whatever you want, and then they bring you some stuff. Like, what do I get in return for sacrificing this is what I want to know. And
I would say it's either that, or yes, a scav box that has like, it uses the value of what you've put in as like a seed to as like the RNG or whatever, or this is like some event that like when you sacrificed enough, the wipe happens or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean, honestly,
community, is there like a website where it's like
Not yet.
escapetarkov.com/sacrifice me daddy, and
that's probably it.
Sack me daddy.
Sack me daddy. Sack me daddy Nikita. Yep, I think that's it.
Yikers.
But so there's that, which is very interesting. Oh, and then the only other thing was, I forgot the queue times, bro. When they did this event, the tank battery event, whatever they pushed as the patch just broke the queue times. I'm sure you saw people complaining about it on Twitter. I just saw
is anyone else experiencing the queue times with a screenshot of like 7 minutes and just being like, oh, is that all?
Well, it's 7.
It was only 7 minutes.
It's 7 to 10 minute matching. So then you match, and then we're waiting for players for another 3. I had multiple times where it genuinely took me and Valiant 30 minutes to get into a raid. It was like 10 or 11 minute matching, and then we just alt F4'd. 10 or 11 minute matching, then we alt F4'd. And then 9 minutes into the matching progress, we found a game. We get in. Somebody spawns right in front of me, and I die. And I'm like, okay. And then you do that again, 30 minutes in. You push Fortress, you kill the guy, and you have a tank battery. And you're like, well, let's just reset. But just resetting takes 30 minutes. So it got bad there for a second. Now, what I found to be funny and anecdotal, one of the number 1 complaints from the people that have been playing the PvE only Tarkov mode since the Unheard Edition thing came out was that the queue times are so long. Queue times are so long. 20 minutes to get in. The PvE raids. It was curious to me that the day they added the tank battery event, where we were all saying our queue times are really long, everyone in PvE was like, dude, I'm getting it in 1 minute. I'm getting it in 1 minute. And it was like they allocated all their servers to PvE on accident or something.
Oh, wait. I was like grokking that differently. So say that again. The day that what?
So since the Unheard thing came out, all the people that have been playing the PvE mode have been saying queue times take forever. But us people in PvP are getting the normal 3 to 5 minute queues. And then the day that they did this event, all of us in PvP were like, man, our queues are really long. And everyone playing PvE was like, dude, I'm getting like 1 minute queues. This is the first time since I've gotten access to this. I'm getting 1 minute queues. So
what the fuck?
I just found that to be hilarious. And then they did a technical update today and they fixed the queue times. I had like 3 minute queues all day. but it was just funny.
Weird.
Yep.
Have
Fascinating.
they acknowledged?
I mean,
it?
they just said like this morning, late last night, they were just like, hey, we're doing a queue time. Raid timers will be reduced to 10 minutes. Technical update, and then it was just boom. It was good all day today. So
Jesus Christ.
very
dude.
weird, very weird. Oh, and then, dude, did you watch that video I sent you?
Which
With
one?
the audio? When I was like, this is just me.
Yes, and so I was on my laptop,
Yeah.
so I didn't get a chance to really hear it. I can actually I could actually pull it up if you want me to pull it up with the audio.
I mean, we can't, you
Um,
can.
I remember seeing the first one and being like, God, that's busted. And then the other ones, I'm like, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume he couldn't hear or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't really tell. Let me pull this thing. Let's get her done here.
Let's get her done. Yeah, it just like the audio has always been bad in that the occlusions are weird and like people seem far away or people seem muffled when they shouldn't. But I am having a huge uptick in the amount of times somebody is full sprinting close to me, at me, unobstructed by anything, and I cannot hear them. And then because I feel like I've been going insane, I'm taking these clips and throwing them into Premiere, isolating the gameplay footage and boosting it to see if I'm missing anything. And most of the times, there's just no audio.
All right, can you hear?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful technology.
Technology is wonderful.
It works. This is how you know I'm not a flat earther. My audio works.
Because my audio works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I can't tell if I'm hearing your footsteps. It's so subtle. Because you were like,
yeah.
Every inch you move is like
yeah.
you've got trash bags in your goddamn pockets.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. I love how you hear the guy yelling 700 yards away to your left. And the guy full sprinting 20 yards in front of you is silent.
That last one, you can kind of hear footsteps on that guy, but it's like, it's not just muffled. It's like giga muffled.
Wait, really? I couldn't.
Yeah.
Let me listen one more time. I'm going to turn it up. Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep. But the point,
he's underwater. You're in the aquarium, and you are the
point
penguin.
you're making is exactly right, which is that man is full sprinting, and I can see him through the open window, and he's that muffled. But the scav up the street to my left yelling, I hear as if he's yelling it in my ear.
Yeah, and so get out right in front of all the people who are going, well, yeah, but isn't it good that you can't hear blah blah blah? Off. This is unintentional.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nikita wants you to hear those footsteps. The fact that you don't is a bug.
Yeah.
You can argue all day long whether or not you should be able to or not.
Yeah.
That's a should.
That's a should.
Not an
Yeah. That's why I included that clip, because it's like, if you think that those steps should be that muffled, then that scream should be muffled.
Yeah.
If you think that scream shouldn't be muffled, I should be able to hear his footsteps more. Like, you know what I mean? It's that's why it's perfect. So, and that's half of my clips from the past 7 days that are like that. I'm not even lying to you.
So rather than do what I recommended, which was control, like go to the folder where occlusion zone dot
Yeah.
file name, file format is, and do Control A delete,
Yeah.
which I know is not how that would work. I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But like,
they should
just
do it
delete
anyway.
them. Just delete them.
Yep.
Like, and make it. I think the game would be better if they just got rid of the occlusion.
Yeah.
And just made it so that it was like just distance and direction.
Distance and direction.
For now, you could hear somebody, 30 meters above you through 97 feet of concrete above you in the bunker, but it's like, but at least someone's there and you know that they're not a threat.
And you can already do that on Shoreline.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least it would be consistent.
The inconsistency is what's killer. 100%.
But yeah, I mean, that's
100%.
just. But instead of that, what they did is they said, we are going to take the occlusion zones we put up that are made of cardboard and we're going to make them lead.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that, like, it's all anecdotal, right? I refuse. I don't care enough. I'm not going to do testing. I might send that clip to Apple and be like, are you aware of this? But I'm not going to do testing. And not because I'm too lazy to do it, but because it's too complicated, right? Like, there's something wrong with the occlusion zones.
Every time I did testing, though, we get so much out of it. So I don't know why you wouldn't spend your time. We got so much out of all of them.
I was like, what are you talking about? But then I got it. It was a joke.
/S.
Yeah. So it's like, there's on Streets of Tarkov, there's 400,000 occlusion zones, right? I'm not going to run behind every piece of wood, behind every van, behind every this. Something is happening. And I'll definitely say it's anecdotal, but it seems like it's getting worse. Now, you've made this argument before, and so I'm going to jump out ahead of it, and this might be right. It might be that 3 months ago, I was mauling about aim punch, and I was mauling about recoil, and I was mauling about screen blur, and I was mauling about inertia, and I was mauling about strength and endurance. And now the strength and endurance have been adjusted. And so I'm noticing it more because there's less things that are making me mauled. So I'm not saying it's definitively getting worse, but it feels like it's getting worse. It feels like that first clip, the one on reserve where he was running down the ramp, that, I don't remember that happening back when we were talking about how bad the audio was. It was more just like the directionality was inconsistent. Stuff was muffled when it shouldn't be. Not like blatant man running at me. I hear nothing. I don't know. Maybe I'm coping. Maybe that's how it's always been.
I don't know about that location, but that is just the staircase bug that has been there since day one. I guess that's true.
That's true. The staircases have always been that bad.
It's just an occlusion on a different level, a different layer where they have to put up.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like it used to be more often stuff was muffled when it shouldn't have been because it was putting you on an occlusion zone maybe above or below. But those clips aren't, it was muffled and it shouldn't have been, except for maybe that last clip. Those clips
the stairs were completely silent until it was like first floor nothing, get up, second floor nothing. You get up to the last step on the landing of the third floor, and now all of a sudden you hear it.
But it's just
I'm sure some places have gotten worse. Probably other places have paradoxically gotten better. Who the knows?
And then what's weird is that you have for 2 or 3 wipes now, maybe even longer than that, you have the exact opposite of that problem on Shoreline, which is there are no occlusion zones. If I'm in the basement and somebody on the roof heals with cheese with an AI2, I can hear it. And I can hear it, and I don't know what floor it's on. Like when we were doing the Shoreline event, I had an like, you know how in an engagement, right? If you're doing something like you're healing or whatever, and then you hear a guy running, what you're kind of doing is processing your moment. You're going to make noise. You're going to expose yourself, but you want to line that up. The amount of times I was like, he's here now, swing pre-fire. There's no one. I run up a floor. I'm checking. There's no one. I run up. 2
little girls holding hands.
I run
at the
up
end of the hallway.
I run up another floor, and then there's a guy, and he kills me. And I'm like, wait, what? So the complete opposite happens on Shoreline. There's no occlusion zone. It's all one occlusion zone. And it just drives me crazy because as with, cheating and as with netcode and as with all the other things, are there, like, this is what I think I got friggin' triggered like a few weeks ago when we were talking about the AI, and someone in chat, their argument was like, well, no game has perfect AI. And that kind of lost my on the concept of like, but I'm not asking for perfect AI. I'm asking for like barely par AI. There's a difference, if my leg is bending the wrong way and you can see the bone through my leg, and I'm like, dude, help me. And there's a difference between that and a little bit of a paper cut and be like, well, everybody gets hurt, man. It's not that big of a deal. Everybody has mistakes. It's like, we're talking about different things here. The AI is so bad, and that's where the audio. So I'll definitely concede no game has perfect audio. I'll definitely concede major games by major studios with smaller maps have occlusion zone problems. I'll concede all that stuff, but this is like all you have to do is run around with a few people. Like Nikita and the devs, get 5 of you, spawn into a Shoreline, and in 10 seconds, you're going to be like, oh yeah, something's wrong. And then just go from there. But it's like, I don't know if they know it's that bad. We've never heard them acknowledge it. On the roadmap, they have audio improvements is like coming on the roadmap. And it's like, what does that mean? Is that just like you're adding more things to the Oculus audio? Or does that mean you guys are aware that the occlusion zones are so scuffed? So it's like, I'm not asking for perfect audio. I'm asking for not garbage tier, baby's first Unity project audio. That's what I'm asking for. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
What we're talking about is the Tarkov's, it's Nikita's hierarchy of needs, where when you are like an upper middle class white guy, this is so meta, the number of layers, then we are sitting here complaining about the video game that we play all day for a job.
Yeah.
And there are people who are just literally dying of exposure, right? Like, just the worst possible. I think that's kind of what you were explaining with like the feeling that like something seems really wrong or bad right now with the sound because so many of the other issues are taken care of.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be,
for sure,
problems. God, yeah, I don't know, man. I just went off on like an imaginary,
it's okay,
metaphorical tangent in my brain about how like all this works, and I'm not really sure.
I just want to know that they know.
Okay, so there's multiple pieces. They can know.
Mm-hmm.
Without, so there's 2 different kinds of knowing here. There's, do you know that there's a problem?
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you know enough to ever have a chance of having either figured it out originally by yourself, or it's like I'm just picturing, insert dev here, going and saying, okay guys, let's go do some like internal testing of the patch or whatever, and they go and they're running around and they're thinking about 8 million things.
Yeah.
And some people just literally don't know how sound works. They don't know what they would expect.
It's complicated.
They just are like, oh, this guy ran down the hall and I didn't hear him. They don't think, should I have heard him?
Yeah.
Maybe they're good players. There are some good players who aren't like smart game developer, designer people.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's just like I'm just not convinced that even though they know, like, there's you were basically asking like, do they know? that's a question that how think about it. How could they not know when I made the video that I made? That was like my 5th video about audio. The 3-hour Steam audio video.
But we've said, how could they not know before, and they haven't known. So what I'm saying
about what though? No, but about what?
I mean, there was like
those are about things we hadn't told them.
Yeah,
there were just things we bitched about
sure.
collectively as a community. But like, there's no way they can't know about the sound.
For sure. Okay, but like, 2 things. One, do they? So, me saying the audio's bad and Nikita saying, yeah, the audio's bad. If he acknowledged he knew, I wouldn't trust that he knew it was bad in the way I know it's bad. Because like they might see certain things. They might see, oh, this isn't optimized. Oh, he might be like, it's eating frames. They've talked about that before. Oculus is eating frames. Like, it's in a bad spot. But are you aware that on Shoreline, there's no occlusion zone? Because nobody's made a video called, hey, Nikita, on Shoreline, there's no occlusion zones. And maybe that video should be made. That could be a separate conversation. But what I'm saying is that, like, in any other facet of life, if you were like, man, I really wonder if she knows, and someone was like, you know she knows, and you're like, yeah, you're right. It's like, no, acknowledgement is valuable, and they haven't acknowledged these specific types of problems we're seeing, especially this wipe, which is that in some places there are no occlusion zones and you can hear the entire map at once, and in some places the occlusion zones are placed on the planet Mars, and this guy's running at me screaming and I can't hear anything. So acknowledging that would be the first step.
I feel like what you're asking is for somebody who has been in jail for 30 years for drug-related crimes, and you're like having a first-time intervention with them. If Nikita does not know about, like, I almost feel like it's kind of a little bit of a red herring to ask for like the specific things, because it's the 5 things you've experienced that you talk about are 5 of 800 billion things that are everywhere all the time, and they've always been. If he's not aware, no one should ever play the game ever again. And we need to spend all the money we can to hire Anonymous to hack them and delete everything and make it so that Escape from Tarkov can't exist anymore.
And I genuinely think that's a possibility.
I feel so strongly that if they don't know that it's some kind of violation of the Geneva Convention or something, because like, it's like me saying, you have a problem, you have a problem, you have a problem every second for 5 years. And then someone going, I don't know. It seems like they don't know.
But once again,
if they don't know, they are like, slowly back away, don't make eye contact, and get out of the room and call 911 because they're dangerous.
I'm with you, but here's the thing. Is like, to take that analogy farther, like, you have a problem, you have a problem, you have a problem, you have a problem. You've been screaming that for years. That problem is presenting in a very specific way right now, and that's never been communicated to them, or it has.
No, but you're describing what's happened every day. For what you're describing is exactly what I said 4 years ago.
Yeah, but once again, I like, I don't know. I feel like this is just a part of good game development, like those League of Legends devs, whatever that blog post. It's like that communication of acknowledging, like, hey, this is what, but this, we know this is hard or whatever. Like, I don't think it's crazy for me to be like, they should acknowledge that the audio is bad.
No, it's not crazy that you think that they should. It's crazy that you think that they would.
Okay, that's fair.
Because Nikita, all he's heard every day for 10 years is fix your audio.
But that's the thing, is he's never in 10 years acknowledged that it's bad. He has never in 10 years acknowledged that the things we experience. He has said before, he's read questions on the podcast where it's like, when are you going to fix the audio? And then his answer is like, we're going to work on optimizations or whatever. Like, that's what I'm saying. It scares me. You're like, if they don't know by now, it's a violation of the Geneva Convention. I think that's possible. Every time he's acknowledged, every time he's ever said the audio is bad, he's talked about frame rate. He's like, yeah, it's really resource intensive and it really hurts the frames. I don't know if they know that on Shoreline, there's no occlusion zones. I think they know the audio's bad. I think they know it needs work done. But it's like, it would be a different thing if they acknowledged it like 5 years ago on a podcast and it's just not fixed yet. Because then I'd be like, dude, you guys know. And you still, and here's the thing is, I actually do think they know. What I'm really arguing is that it would go a long way to acknowledge that. But they won't do that because acknowledgement all then comes with accountability. And we would be like, hey, you said you were aware and you were working on it. But
I think it's less that and more, it's a tangled mess.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a mess, right? And it's like, I'm like really digging metaphors here, but imagine like, imagine, you know, your wife went away did a girls' vacation, you know, with friends or whatever. It comes back and like the house, like it's just been you and the kids going crazy, you know, and it's like, her talking about she just wants you to acknowledge that you take responsibility, that the dishes are in the sink and you need to, and it's like, look at the mess. I'm not gonna, why would you think I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry about the dishes when nothing is going right? Everything is completely, and everybody's been complaining. You've been bitching and moaning at me forever, honey. And you know, like, it's just.
But in that analogy, I feel like the audio is a pillar of the game big enough to say that the analogy for audio wouldn't be that you were mad the dishes weren't done. It would be you were mad that the fire in the garage hasn't been put out. If you came home from the vacation and you were like, babe, there's a fire in the garage and I haven't put it out. And I said, yeah, but there's dishes in the sink. That's how I feel. I feel as though audio is an important enough thing to work on. And they're like, have you seen these new Glock animations? And I know, don't jump down my throat. The animation guys don't work on the thing. I get it. I've made that argument for years. But what I'm saying is 6 years of development, what you were just saying, 5-6 years of these same problems. And in some cases in these same exact spots on the same maps, would it not be easier for just like a dude to crush some Red Bull over a weekend and just manually place some occlusion zones on Shoreline, floor line, literally just across the whole resort, first floor, second floor? Like, I'm begging for old dorms, because exactly what you said, old dorms was you could hear above, you could hear below, but the staircase audio was. That would be such a tremendous upgrade for Shoreline. Could they not just go in a weekend and just manually place occlusion zones across the whole damn thing? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to flip the metaphor even further. Now you're the wife and you've come home every day. My wife, every day you've come home every day for 10 years of your marriage. And now your house burnt down. Okay. The neighbor's house burnt down. The neighbor's house burnt down. The neighbor's house burnt down. And I'm your girlfriend. Okay. And you're like, oh, I'm so sick that I just wish he would acknowledge that that the Pentagon is about to burn down because the chain of houses that are burnt. And it's like, you're surprised that the 97th thing.
Oh yeah. Not like, surprised, frustrated, not surprised.
I'm
not surprised.
You're just saying exactly, like verbatim, what I said 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and 5 years ago.
That's what I'm saying, though.
So the fact that I'm already past,
for sure.
There's the 7 stages of grief or whatever, and you haven't reached acceptance, bro. They're incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. They're game developers who either that or they have no idea how to prioritize anything to make a game that their players will enjoy. If you think they'll ever change, you're huffing the most copium ever.
I am.
Because all they've done time and time again is establish and reinforce the fact that they either have no idea what they're doing or they don't care. Either way, and Prage that Star Citizen releases any day now so that you can move on from the dog. Because every time I play a $4 puzzle game, it's got better audio. So you wanted Nikita to acknowledge, it's like, bro, I want you
You just want me to move on. You want me to skip through.
You just shouldn't be like asking for anything.
Well, yeah, I'm not though. Like, this is two guys chopping it up on a podcast. It'd be a different thing if I was like tweeting and being like, Nikita, will you please acknowledge? Yeah. You're definitely not wrong. And we've arrived at an analogy I accept and agree on, which is that I am in the 7 stages of grief and I just haven't yet reached acceptance.
I just feel bad because it's like you're like someone who their husband, their wife has been cheating for years, and it's like, and you're telling me about the 15th affair, and I'm like, brother,
leave him.
You know, like, it's so much. There's other fish in the sea. You know,
It just mauled with me. You know,
I don't want to see. I just don't want to see you sad.
I just don't want to see you get hurt.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. John's not gonna change, Susan. John is not gonna change. He's a piece of. He's always been a piece of. He's not gonna change.
But what if I could change him?
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I'm hearing. I would, it would go a long way for John to, like, say I looked pretty this afternoon. Like, bro, you can't fix them. Nikita knows, bro. Here's the truth. Here's the I'm like 99.17% sure that Nikita knows, and he's just like, I don't care. I want to be done with this. It's too complicated. It's too much work. They're gonna, even if they try it, they're probably someone is gonna try it and fuck it up, probably, right?
Yeah.
So he's just hoping that people just accept it because he's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's either easy or they can't do it.
Yeah.
Now, here's where Nikita next week introduces Steam Audio 2.0 and it fixes the audio in the game.
Yeah.
And then the week after that says, but it's a $487 DLC that's not a DLC.
Yeah.
So you're like, John brought me flowers and then he hit me. That's why I've got this black eye.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is if they were like, here's the $99 audio DLC, I'd pay it. And that'd be my black eye. And I'd be like, but he fixed it.
Yeah, but I think he's changing. I think it's happening.
Oh, God damn it. You're not wrong.
Jesse, you are a fucking neural network trained on Veritas.
Yeah. Wow.
But you're just a year behind in development. You were made by BSG.
Oh my God.
Imagine being a Wish.com Veritas.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
That's literally everyone's worst nightmare.
That's
I don't put that on you. I'm just in a mood. Holy fuck.
Holy cow. Well, that's it. That's the Tarkov stuff. I can fix him. All right. Well, that is the stuff this week. That is the Tarkov news, the gaming news, the newsy news. And yeah, thank you guys for coming on this cathartic journey. Thank you for if this felt like this ended up being an intervention. That's what it felt like. And you know what? Maybe I need it. Elden Ring on stream tomorrow.
My hand on your shoulder, bud. I'm giving you like the bro squeeze, like bro. I'm here, man. Nikita is not your friend. Okay? Tarkov doesn't love you. and will never love you.
Yeah.
They're not listening. And neither are you. Because they can't make noise with the sound metaphor.
All right. Well, maybe I need it. Maybe, and maybe I'll need it again and again and again and again. But for now, that's it. Thank you guys. This was hilarious. Thank you. This was like an unhinged right from the beginning episode. Thank you guys for hanging. If you want more unhinged rants about things,
more bro squeeze,
more bro squeezes, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod, where you can get early ad-free access to these episodes and even additional 1+ hour episodes each week, and things get buck wild over there. So thank you guys for hanging. Thank you again to Little Robot and HelloFresh for sponsoring the episode. Love you long time, and we'll definitely see y'all on the next one.
You don't deserve it. You're better than that.